Good evening, ghouls and goblins, ghosts and geists. Are ghosts and geists the same things? It's a little redundant. It's spooky season! Time for costumes, decorations, that one store that takes over the corpses of failed businesses like a capitalist necromancer. Truly the spirit of the season. Huh? You see what I did there? You see what I did? Okay, moving on. My community polls on YouTube and Patreon showed you guys really wanted me to talk about the False Hydra. And that video is coming, but it's taking longer than expected. Though I didn't want to leave this month without talking about something scary, so let's talk D&D horror. No, not D&D horror stories, we got enough of those already, but I mean how to play horror in D&D. Now, everyone knows that D&D is not something that does horror well. Many channels have made this point far more elegantly than I could hope to. But most of those videos focus on running a game of horror as a DM.
I pull one tiny thread and their whole world unravels into chaos.
How you can fill a world with terrors to give the party a fright. And to be fair, a DM does shoulder the majority of the burden in this case. Setting, tone, pacing, things that can make or break horror are in the DM's hands. But what about you, human fighter man? Let's talk about what you as a player can do to better your own experience with D&D horror. First off, your mindset. A player is really only in control of their character, their actions, their choices, their wants, and their fears. Remember that one, it's gonna be important later. You are the protagonist, but instead of a fantasy hero, you are now a horror movie protagonist. Yippee! If the DM comes to you and says, hey, this is supposed to be a scary game that's meant to give you a little bit of a spook, then you first need to accept that fact. Your DM will put something in your path to frighten and disarm you, maybe even make you a little bit uncomfortable. It's important to have that expectation and mindset when going into it. No one goes into a haunted house attraction for roses and tea parties. Why do you think they make you sign a waiver? Of course, don't push it. Boundaries are important. If someone crosses a line, let them know. Do not cross people's boundaries just for the sake of a one-off scare, etc., etc. We all know that. Entertainment that is designed to scare is still entertainment. It's meant to be fun, just in a spooky, adrenaline-pumping way. Players should expect to have a horror game maybe push the envelope a little bit in their games. I want to say right now that this is not meant to enforce the idea that a DM is working against the players, or that relationship should be at all antagonistic. You're all playing together. The party is not the DM's playthings to torment, and the DM is not some video game boss to be beaten. Okay? Okay. Now, fear. It's human nature that we are all afraid of something. Some people are afraid of spiders, others afraid of blood, or the dark, or heights. Others have far more psychological fears. Well, I mean, they're all psychological, but I mean fears of things that aren't exactly physical, like being alone, being forgotten, or turning into their mother. Fear is intrinsic to our very being. The oldest and strongest emotion of mankind is fear, and the oldest form of fear is fear of the unknown. This quote by H.P. Lovecraft still rings true. We all carry at least one fear, and you should totally transfer that onto your character in a way that fits. You're playing a barbarian who lusts for battle and bloodshed? Maybe they're afraid of growing old and frail, unable to lift an axe. Perhaps you're a wizard, weaving devastating spells. Would your fear be losing your power, or losing yourself to your own power? Or maybe you're a bard who is terrified of cockroaches, especially the ones with wings. Hey, they don't all have to be deep and profound. Fear of bugs suddenly flying at you is valid, especially when they fly right at your face. Every time, it's always right at the face. Why? Why? If you are struggling with finding a fear, then the fallback of fear of death is totally valid. Most people, even the powerful, especially the powerful, do not want to die and have a strong sense of self-preservation. There's like a dozen examples of people throughout the Monster Manual and DMG and in the lore trying to cheat death because they really, really don't want to die. Liches, vampires, potions of immortality, all this stuff. There's the other half of that quote by the good old Cthulhu guy, fear of the unknown. Our imaginations can make up way crazier stuff than whatever the DM is going to throw at us, usually. So don't be too eager to solve all the mysteries. Don't overcook your fear, you gotta let it simmer. Now you may want to play the bravest of the brave, a character who doesn't afraid of anything whatsoever. First of all, that's kind of boring. Second of all, why? Why would you do that in a horror game? Defeats the whole purpose. Third of all, even characters made to be paragons of courage, like paladins, my favorite class, I love you, are afraid of something. After all, true courage is not a lack of fear, but a willingness to push forward despite your fear. What makes a good horror movie protagonist, which is what you are now, is not just fear, but your response to fear. A scary movie doesn't just tell us that the hero is afraid. It's the look in their eyes, the shaking of their hands, the trembling of their breath, and the sweat running down their brow. I strongly urge you to get physical with your character's fear response. Do they freeze in place, unable to utter a single word? Do they run and hide? Or maybe they lash out at the thing trying to scare them in a mad frenzy? Describe the trembling of their breath, the nervous shaking, or the sweat running down their brow. It really helps build on the moment. Horror is like comedy. It needs a reaction from the audience. Nothing is worse for a DM running a horror campaign than an emotionally detached party that just stares at them blank-faced when the horrors beyond comprehension come running at their characters. But you know what causes fear to go from, I got a bad feeling about this, to, oh snap, we need to get out of here, like right now? Splitting the party. I know. Don't ever split the party. Staying as a unit is meta, but the more meta you are, the less of a threat everything else is. And the less of a threat everything else is, the less likely you or your characters are going to be scared. Making suboptimal choices for the sake of cool moments is totally valid. All this time, I've talked about things that make your character afraid for themselves, but we are social creatures. We fear for those close to us just as much as ourselves. I mean, you've seen the outrage that occurs at a table when your ranger's pet wolf gets an ouchie. Emotional connection and the threat of having that connection severed is a great source of fear. Try to reinforce the emotional connections within the party as much as possible. Anything from fun icebreakers to deep philosophical questions. Suddenly, you're not just afraid that the monster is going to kill you, but that it's going to kill your companions, your friends whom you've grown to love and care for, and you might not be able to stop it. Unless you've got that aura of courage thing that the paladins got, where you and your allies become literally immune to fear, so you actually are fearless in that sense. Wow, D&D really wasn't made to be a horror game. Don't play a paladin in a horror game. Don't do it. Finally, self-insert characters. Yeah, I know it's cringed, but I roleplayed as a drow bottom for 40 minutes in another video. I'm used to cringe. The point is, a self-insert character might be more acceptable in a horror game. Why? Because you're playing you, and these things are happening to you, except it's you with a sword and a wizard wand. That would make it much easier to care and get genuinely scared and worried when scary stuff starts happening to the character, because it's you. Not to mention, if the character is literally a one-to-one translation of you in the real world, your friends that you're playing with at the table are probably gonna know what makes you tick, especially your dungeon master. I'm not sure if this is a hot take or not. I don't really know anyone who's ever played a one-to-one self-insert character in D&D, but it's just an idea. So get out there, get in the mindset, and get ready to be afraid.
Be very afraid.
Thank you so much for watching. Special thanks to my patrons. You get the big candy bar this year, but everyone gets something. As a little trick or treat, I've attached a few Halloween-themed magic items to this video for free. Link in the description below. Happy Halloween, everyone. Don't forget to like and subscribe, share the video with your friends, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers and chills.